Hi and welcome to this DCP Web tutorial. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to install essential add-ons for Elementor in WordPress. Okay, let's go ahead and open up the web browser, and in the previous tutorial I showed you how to install Elementor Pro and also showed you how to install the Hello theme for Elementor, right? So that's kind of the base things that I normally do when I'm setting up a new project under WordPress and building them with Elementor. But another nice feature to have, it's not essential but I think it's quite a nice feature to have, is essential add-ons for Elementor. So if we go over to this website here, I'll put a link to that in the YouTube description, and you can go ahead and click on these demos. I'm going to show you some examples of what I've done using this particular tool. And what this tool does is it adds more features to your default Elementor, right? So if I click get started here, it will scroll me down the page. You can see the different pricing options. If you've got one website and you want to renew it once a year, it costs as little as $39. So it's only a handful of dollars every month, and you get quite a lot of features. You get all of these 80 extra widgets, and you get extra extensions. You can activate it only on a single website. The next one is unlimited, so you pay $79, or let's call it $80 a year, but you can install it on unlimited websites. And then you've got the lifetime access, which is $199.98, and you can install it on unlimited activations. You can have it on unlimited websites as well. So this one is kind of a nice option to have, and it doesn't require renewal. This one you can install it on as many websites as you want, but you have to pay a 25% renewal every year, right? So it'll be 25% discount off of this price, I assume. And then this one also, it's just for a single website, so it's quite cheap. And then you've got like the developer agency license, where you get all of these extra tools as well, like notification, better docs, embedpress, review X and stuff like this. You can see like the review tool popping up here every so often. So I've actually got this package here. It's not cheap, it's $579, but I'm a web design company, so I can use this on many different projects. So that's why I kind of opted for this particular package. If we scroll right back up to the top, we can click on demo. So I just want to show you a couple of examples of how I've used this on a few different projects or on a project. So let's scroll down the page a little bit. You can't use all of these different features on one website. Well, I assume you can, but you'll be there for a very long time. So we have to choose and pick the different types of tools that we use for relevant, for the website itself. So not everything you're going to be using on one website, but there's quite a nice set of features here. So for example, let's just scroll down this page. I'll show you a couple of examples. So like filterable gallery, if I click here, it will load up a page and show me a little demo of this. So I can click on these little options here and it will filter out the gallery, right? So if I go over to this website called Expert Shop Fitters, I've finished this recently, and I click on their gallery, we can filter out the different types of services that they're provided or showcase their projects. So this filterable gallery, you can see a demo here, and it's actually this particular tool that I used. Interactive card is quite useful. So when I click on here, and if we scroll down the page, I can click on one of these pictures or click on something here, and it will load up more content, right? So it might load up some piece of content, or it might load up some sort of text scroller here. This is a good way to have a visual element on your website. So this could be a visual element, it could be a picture, for example, like this one, and you can scroll and read content. This is a good way to have a visual element, but then have some good written SEO content that sits behind it so that the page doesn't look too heavy. So when I go to this website and I click on the home page, if I scroll down the page a bit, like these three examples here, like knowledge and skills, exceptional craftsmanship, and customer satisfaction, if I click on each one, it will load up a bit of information on each one, right? So this is, you could have had that text written right here in this block, but then it would look a bit quite text heavy, right? So it's down to the user of the website whether they want to click and read more. It says read more right underneath there. So if they choose to click on this one and read it, great. But it's some useful information for the search engines. It helps to pad out your website in terms of written content, and that can improve your SEO as well. But do it in a visual way, right? So that's why I use that particular tool. You've got like countdowns here. So this is Essential Add-ons running here. If I just refresh it, you've got these simple little countdowns. You've got that in Elementor anyway, but it's kind of nice to have this feature. And then you can do like these mouse movements as well in Essential Add-ons, right? So you can track the mouse and the objects will move with it. So that's like a nice feature as well. And then you've got all of these sort of animation sequences that you can use in Essential Add-ons. Although Elementor Pro does have them as well, I think Essential Add-ons just implements it a bit better, and there's a bit more variety as well. So if we scroll down the page a bit more, we can see these flip boxes. So here's another way to get some useful information. You can embed links in there as well for SEO, and you can click on these links, it will take you to sub pages. But here's a nice way to represent some written content but in a visual format. So if we go back to the website here, if we close this in fact and go back up here, we should see flip card somewhere here, Flipbox, right? It's called Flipbox. If we click on it, here all these tools you're getting within the software that you're purchasing, you can see all these different examples of flips. Not necessarily flips, some kind of fade in and out and stuff like this. But you've got loads of different examples of how you can implement this like little Flipbox tool, right? So you can see an example of me using it here as well. So that's kind of an idea of some of the features, not all of them. There's so many more. You can see all of these different things here. You've got interactive buttons. I won't go through all of these. I'll leave you to kind of go through them, but I will be making some tutorials explaining how to use some of these things, especially like the custom Google Maps. There's some really nice sort of features and tools in here that you don't get in the default Elementor Pro, and I use them quite often on web projects. So to install this, we need to go to our default WordPress website. So let's just go to here. We can close this window and let's go ahead and click on plugins here. And I will actually add a link to this website as well. That will be useful. So I'll put a link to this essential add-ons in the YouTube description. But if we go to our WordPress website, click plugins and then click add new. And then we want to search for Elementor. And if we search for Elementor, we can see essential add-ons here. So I'll click install. And I'll click activate. So this is the free version. Just like Elementor, you can get a free version of Elementor. You can also get a free version of add-ons as well, right? But then if you want all of the features, this one says like packed with 40 stunning free elements, right? Including advanced tables and all this other stuff that you can get. So there's 40 here. But when you purchase the product here, you pay for the license for the pro version, you'll get 80. So you get double the amount basically, right? And you'll get some features that you really should need. You can't really need them, but this is how these people make money, right? You've got to provide something in order to incentivize someone to purchase it. So we've got the free version installed. Now we need to install the pro version. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so once you click this get started button, you'll select the relevant option for your business, and then you'll just follow the checkout process and you'll make payment. Once you've made payment, you'll have an account that you can log into. You can click the account button up here, and if I go to this tab, I'm already logged into my account. So you have your key written over here, so you'll see the key for your software. I've blurred that out because you can't really use my key, you need to purchase your own. But you want to go ahead and click download button here, and it will show you the different options. So I've got the agency bundle, so I've purchased this version here, so I've got access to all of these software applications. But if you purchase just the essential add-ons, then you'll only have access to this top one up here. So I'm going to go ahead and click download because that's what we're looking at today, this essential add-ons. I'll click download, and then we can go ahead and install that on our WordPress website. Okay, so we've downloaded the software and I've saved that on a folder on my desktop. So let's go back to WordPress, and we've already installed the essential add-ons, the free version. Let's go back to plugins here, and we can go ahead and click add new, and then we want to go ahead and click upload plugin, and we'll click choose zip file. And on my desktop, I've got the zip file here that I've just downloaded. So I'm going to select that and click open, and then we'll click install now, and then we'll click activate. So we need to go ahead and click on essential add-ons here, and what it's going to ask us for is our key. So we need to place the key in here. So if I go back to the login screen for essential add-ons, I can copy this key. So I'm going to go ahead and copy it, and then we'll go back to WordPress, and we need to paste the key into here. So I'm going to right click and just paste it, and then click activate. So now the account has been activated, we can go back to plugins. And if we just refresh this, we'll see that we've got the Elementor Essential Add-ons here. We can auto-enable this as well, so auto-enable the updates, and there should be an option that pops up here shortly that will allow us to do auto updates here for Essential Add-ons as well. So that can take a little bit of time to show, but normally it will show pretty quick, right? So we should always try and enable auto updates if possible, especially if you're not running a very complex website, as long as you've got a handful of plugins and they're quite common and well-maintained plugins, you can go ahead and auto-enable the update. Make sure you're running backups as well for your WordPress websites. That's quite important. Okay, so let's go back to Essential Add-ons. And the one thing that I normally do is go to Elements, and I just enable all of them and disable all of them, and then click Save Settings. Right, so why have I done that? We don't need to use all of these tools. We don't need all of them, and quite a lot of them, in fact, like WooCommerce. If you're not building a WooCommerce website, you don't need this. If you're not like building some sort of LMS or some sort of learning system, we don't need all of these features. If you're not running a Facebook feed or a Twitter feed and you're only running Instagram, why do you have to enable all of them? It doesn't make sense. So it's better to only enable the features that you're going to be using on the website. Otherwise, you kind of bloat out your website a little bit in terms of options. There's just too many options. It's too confusing. So you want to just try and use only the tools that you need to use. And how do you find out? Next to each one of these, you've got the documentation and a demo. So if we click on tooltip, for example, here's a little demo. We click it. It will take us to the website page where you can see the tooltip, and you can just roll over these and you can see this little thing will pop up underneath, and that's how the tooltip works. So it's quite interesting that you can, use this particular feature and get this little tooltip thing working. It works good with like visual elements. That's what it's really good for. If you just want to have a bit of information that pops up. So that's what the tooltip does, and you can go ahead and click on any of these. Like you've got like dual color headers. I don't really use this, but we can have a look at it. So you've got like, sometimes it might be actually quite useful if you want to emphasize something in your header. You can have like these dual headers, dual colors, 2 different colors in your header. So that's quite interesting to have that. You can do that in default Elementor, but you'll have to write some CSS to do that. But with this tool, you can just drag and drop the header and do that quite quickly. You have off canvas. That's quite interesting as well. So you can go ahead and click like left side and you'll see some left side content for like navigation. You click right side, you'll see right side navigation. And then you can have like custom content in here. So you can have a whole index. You can put a template in here as well. That's template driven. So that's pretty cool that you can do that as well. You can have like a little gallery sliding and stuff. You can do lots of interesting stuff with this this particular feature called off canvas. Yeah? So I've used that a few times in a few different projects. You've got like sticky videos, you've got event calendar. I've not really used the event calendar too much, but I assume we can connect it maybe to what some of our like Google Calendar, some of our event systems here, or some of our calendar systems, and we can display events in here, which might be quite useful. Yeah, but there's other plugins which are probably a bit more robust in terms of event management or displaying them. So maybe we'll look at them in the near future. And there's lots of other useful tools in here. So really you need to look through these tools and find out like which ones are useful to you. Like fancy text, I use that sometimes. It's like this typing text. I find that quite useful sometimes to have a little message pop up, and you can have them fade in and out. You can do all sorts of stuff, which is quite useful, yeah, in terms of web development. You've got counters. Counters I've used quite a lot. So if you want to have like ticking counters or text counters, this stuff is pretty good, especially if you want to say like completed projects or how many clients you have or happy customers and so forth. This is quite a good feature to have on your website. So there's lots of different tools, lots of different features. I've used this interactive circle before. This is quite cool where you can hover over these and click them and have their sort of messages. This is quite good for like FAQs and stuff like this, or just do things in a slightly different way. It's quite interesting to have this. So this text will normally change inside depending on which element you click. So that's quite a cool feature. So if we go over to the next tab, I'll leave you to go and experiment with these. Remember, just the ones that you want to use, you just turn them on and then you click save settings, and they will be available in Elementor when you load up an Elementor page. So I'll give you a quick example of that. Let's enable one that I use quite often. Let's just see. Let's just use the Flipbox, I guess. It's quite hard to find everything in here, so many, but let's use Flipbox and we'll just save settings, and then I'll show you that working as well. Maybe we'll have a quick demonstration of that. And we can go to extensions, and then you've got all of these different extensions, like you've got particle backgrounds. So if you want to do some sort of particle in the background, something like this, you can do that. Have these little particle effects in the background. Imagine you're doing like some theme or some sort of Christmas promotion, you can have snow and stuff like this. It's not the best particle system, I'll be honest with you, but it's not the worst either. It's okay, it's acceptable, but If you want to really do like some really interesting particle stuff, then you want to probably use something like slider revolution. So slider revolution, you can make way more custom sort of header animations and stuff like this. Good example of slider revolution, if we go to this slammers bar, this is a website I built recently for a customer. You can see the particle effects in the background here, but then you can do all these sort of animation sequences and do like pretty cool effects and text effects, and this is all done in slider revolution. So I'll put maybe a link to that in the YouTube description, but I'll make a whole tutorial on slider revolution because it's quite complex to understand. I think it's something that's quite interesting for you to learn as well. So if we close this down, we're back in WordPress, and normally again I'll enable and disable all of these, and the one that I normally keep active is the wrapper link, is quite useful, and the duplicator. And this other stuff I'll kind of enable it if I need it, but as and when I need it. So these two I normally keep. Duplicator just allows us to copy an existing page quite quickly. So if we build a page like a blog post or a sub page and we want to use that as almost like a template for the next page, we can just use the duplicator element. And then the wrapper link is quite important. That allows us to put a link around the whole object on the page, and that's quite a useful way to link, have a piece of content linked to something, but the whole object itself rather than just a button. You've got tools here. These are just kind of, we'll go through these maybe in another tutorial. You've got integration. So these are all the other tools that you can purchase separately, but if you're wise, it might be wise to let's just go back to Essential Addons. We're actually on the website here. Purchase this bundle where you can just use it on as many websites as you want. Unlimited websites, and lifetime license, all the updates and upgrades. You get that all in one package here for $597. It's quite expensive. It's an investment, don't get me wrong, but if you build 10 websites, that's like $50, $60 a website. Then you can always bill your clients for that value, and you can then use these tools on their website and make their website better. That's kind of the idea, right? So let's just finally go back to WordPress. Let's just go to pages. Let's create a new page, and this is just like default WordPress. There's nothing special here, but we'll click publish here, and then we'll just edit this with Elementor. And we just got a little test page running here. I'm not going to really do anything heavyweight, but you can see all the different tools in Elementor. And if we scroll down, any of the tools in Essential Elementor or Essential Addons, they'll have this little EA in the corner. So if we type into here, a nice way to do it is just type in flip. So if we type in flip box, this is the EA flip box, so the Essential Addons flip box, and this is the default Elementor one. So if we grab this one and drag and drop it, in fact we need to create a let's just do like 3 on a row. And if we just go back to our tools, let's do flip, and we can drag this flip box onto here, and then we can start to customize this flip box. We can start to change its height, its width. We can go to content, then we can have the front, and we can click here. We can change it to an icon, or we can use an image. Then we can select an image, and then we can pick a default image from our library. Let's take this default one, right? So we can have an image in here that we can change its size. We can say it fits a bit better. You can change the resolution of that image. You can experiment with this, and you can change the text at the front and on the flip. So this is the front of the card. So let's say let's just do a new title. So you can have the title here. You can select whether it's a H1 tag or H2. As default is a H2, which makes sense. You never want this to be a H1 tag, or it might be a H3 or 4. And then you can have a bit of content at the front here. So you could say read more, for example. You can write that there, right? Read more. So you have a little read more, and then when you flip over it goes to the back side. So in the back you can get rid of all of this. You can do we don't really need any of that, so we don't really want any of this, so we can say none. So when we flip over, you can see the back side. There'll be no image or anything like that. The back title, we can just write something else. So let's just do another title. So when we flip over, it will say another title, and you can take your content and you can start writing out some content in the back here. So you can have some content in here, then you can start linking that to other things. So when you flip over, there might be a link here going to a sub page. So we might just, for example, for argument's sake, we might just link to my website. So when we highlight this text, we can make it a link, and accept it, and then there will be a link here, and when we click on that link, when we activate this page, that will be a link off to my website. You can change the images, you can change the color scheme, you can go into styles, you can start playing around with the colors, the foreground and the background color. You can change a lot of the stuff in here, right, as in what you want to change it to. You can change it to blue, for example. These are like default colors. I won't go through absolutely everything because I really need to go through this a bit more thoroughly if I want to explain it all. But that's the front, the background type, the image style. So you can have it in a circle, you can have it in a radius, you can do all that sort of stuff. You can play around with it, you can add borders to it and do all good, lots of good stuff in here. Yeah? It's endless features that you can tweak and update and change. And you can change the way that the flip works, so you can have like zoom in and out, so you can zoom in like this, you can flip to the right, you can flip to the top, and then I do believe inside content, or let's see, 1 minute, link, you can have a button in here as well, I believe, get started. Let's see, then you can have like this button, get started, in here. You can change its position, and then there are some other options in here as well. It's quite a lot to go through, to be honest. So I think that's kind of it, just to give you a bit of an understanding of how that Flipbox works, and that will be one of the tools that we added. So let's just update this, and then we can go to view this page, and now you can see the Flipbox working. You can click this link and it will take you through to my website. That's just a basic demo, right? It's not something polished by any means, but if we put some time and effort into it, then we can. This is another website I recently finished for a client, just like this, sort of solar panels. So this is all built in Elementor using Elementor Pro and Elementor Essential Addons. So you can do things like mass movement on this solar panel. So as you move, the solar panel moves with it. Here you can see the number counter here from Essential Addons, and then here you can see the flip box where I've polished it up a bit more, right? So if we go here, you can see it flip over. If we go to this website, you can see the same logic. We just put a bit more time and effort into designing this. That's all it is. So I'm going to show you how to build sites like these, or at least get an understanding of how to do custom web development work using WordPress, Elementor Pro, and Elementor Essential Addons. So I know we went through quite a bit here today, but I wanted to kind of show you some of the tools that we use in web development. So these are like common tools that I use when I'm building in WordPress. I'll be using Essential Addons, I'll be using Elementor Pro, and then we'll also be using the Hello Elementor theme. And all three things we've covered in the last set of tutorials and in today's tutorial. So hopefully you find this tutorial useful. Let's go ahead and minimize this. That's the end of this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to be making lots more tutorials to do with Elementor and WordPress web development, and I look forward to seeing you in the next DCP web tutorial.